Ma'am, if you don't step aside right now, I'm calling security to have you removed. Those words, said to a woman who had done nothing wrong. A woman with a confirmed ticket, a paid seat, full documentation. But none of that mattered, because as she stood there at gate B7 watching a white man in an expensive suit walk past her and settle into the first-class seat she had paid $2,400 for, she realized something. They weren't calling security because of a booking error. They were calling security because they had already decided she didn't belong there. What they didn't know was that this woman wasn't just any traveler. She was Camille Washington, CEO of an $8 billion private equity firm. And in exactly 10 minutes, she would make one phone call that would change everything. 2 months later, she would walk back into that same airport. But this time, she wouldn't be asking for a seat. She would own every single seat on every single plane. Let me tell you who Camille Washington really is, and why what happened to her that morning would become the most expensive mistake an airline ever made. Her name is Camille Washington. Early 50s, natural hair with silver streaks, designer luggage, quiet confidence. To most people, just another business traveler. They have no idea they're looking at one of the most powerful women in private equity. Camille grew up in Detroit. Small apartment, heating that didn't always work. Mother working double shifts. Her mother, Dorothy Washington, was a flight attendant for 30 years. One of the first black flight attendants hired by a major airline back in the 70s. Little Camille would wait at the airport for hours just to catch a glimpse of her mother in that uniform, watching planes take off and dreaming about owning something no one could take away. At 28, fresh out of business school with crushing debt, Camille started a tech company from her studio apartment, cloud-based logistics software. She bootstrapped it, worked 20-hour days, survived on ramen and coffee, and built something real. At 35, she sold that company for $240 million. She took that money and started Washington Capital Partners. Mission: find struggling companies with good bones but bad leadership. Acquire them, fix them, turn them into something great. Today, her firm manages over $8 billion in assets. Her specialty isn't just making money, it's fixing broken systems. And she's exhausted. Last night, she closed a major deal. A manufacturing company that was 3 months from bankruptcy. At 11 p.m., final signatures went through. 3 hours of sleep before her 4:30 alarm. But today isn't about business. Today is about family. Her mother turns 75 today. Camille is flying to Atlanta to surprise her. She's booked first class on the airline her mother worked for. Seat 2A, $2,400. Sentimental, honoring her mother's legacy. The airport is busy. Camille stops at a coffee shop. The woman behind the counter recognizes her from Forbes. They talk about dreams, business plans. Camille hands her a $20 for an $8 coffee, writes her personal email on a business card. Send me your business plan when you're ready. Gate B7, 20 minutes until boarding. Camille checks her phone, first class seat 2A, confirmation number. Everything in order. She's thinking about her mother's face tonight. The surprise, the joy. Boarding begins. First class and priority passengers. The gate agent is Patricia Morrison, mid-40s, 15 years with the airline. She looks exhausted, like she's had the worst morning possible. Camille approaches with a warm smile. Good morning. Patricia barely looks up, scanner ready. Camille holds up her phone. The scanner beeps, and then Patricia's expression changes. She scans again. Another beep. She looks at Camille, then back at her screen. Ma'am, there seems to be an issue with your ticket. Camille stays pleasant. An issue? I booked it last night. The confirmation came through right away. Patricia's tone shifts, defensive. I'm showing this seat as occupied. Camille pulls up her confirmation email. Seat 2A, first class, confirmation number, everything. That doesn't make sense. I have the confirmation right here. Patricia barely glances at it. Ma'am, our system shows this seat is taken. There must have been a booking error on your end. On my end? Camille shows her banking app. The $2,400 charge from last night. Clear as day. Patricia's jaw tightens. I understand you're frustrated, but I can't board you with a duplicate reservation. If you'll just wait over there, maybe we can find you a seat in Economy Plus. Wait. A confirmed ticket? A confirmation email? A credit card charge for $2,400? And she's being told to wait for Economy. Other passengers notice. Someone pulls out their phone. Energy shifting. A man approaches from the jetway. Mid-50s, pressed shirt and tie, customer service smile. Stephen Bradford, gate manager. Good morning, I understand we have a situation here. Camille explains. Confirmed ticket. Confirmation. Charged. But being told the seat is occupied. Stephen glances at Patricia's screen. Just a glance. Doesn't ask to see Camille's confirmation. Doesn't check her documents. Just nods like he's already decided. These system errors do happen occasionally. Let's get you set up in Economy Plus, and I'll personally make sure you receive a voucher for a future flight. That sounds like you're asking me to give up the seat I paid for. Stephen's smile tightens. Ma'am, I'm offering you a solution. The solution is honoring my confirmed reservation. Everything documented. Everything clear. I paid $2,400 for this seat. Why would I accept a downgrade? Stephen's tone cools. Ma'am, let's not make a scene. I'm trying to accommodate you. There it is. Let's not make a scene. Like she's the problem. Before Camille can respond, someone speaks up. A younger man from the jetway. Asian American, early 30s, tech entrepreneur energy. Is there a problem here? She clearly has a ticket. Stephen turns with that corporate smile. Sir, please return to your seat. I heard the whole thing. She has a confirmed ticket. What's the actual problem? Sir, this doesn't concern you. Derek Chen. He extends his hand to Camille. First time in first class, but I definitely saw that seat 2A was empty when I boarded. Camille Washington. And that's my seat. Stephen's face reddens. Sir, I need you to return to the aircraft. Derek pulls out his phone. This seems really off. Patricia, you cannot film at the gate. I can film whatever I want in a public space. And that's when everything becomes crystal clear. A voice from behind them. Confident. Impatient. Entitled. Is my seat ready? What's the holdup here? Everyone turns. A white man in his 60s. Expensive custom suit. Rolex. Perfect hair. The walk of someone who's never been told no. Richard Henley. Watch what happens next. Stephen's entire demeanor transforms. Voice changes. Body language shifts. Mr. Henley, yes sir, just a small mix-up. We'll have you boarded right away. Richard glances at Camille. Takes her in. Natural hair, brown skin, dismisses her in that moment. Are we waiting on her? 4 words, pure dismissiveness. Stephen practically trips over himself. Mr. Henley is a platinum executive member. Flies this route twice a week. There was an unfortunate overlap in the reservation system. Please, sir, go ahead and board. Seat 2A is ready for you. Seat 2A? Camille's seat. That's my assigned seat. Stephen doesn't even look at her. There must have been a system error. Please, Mr. Henley, don't let this delay you, Richard sighs. Performative. Annoyed. For God's sake, just give her a voucher or something. I have a meeting in Atlanta at noon. I cannot miss it. His meeting matters. Her mother's 75th birthday doesn't. Stephen nods eagerly. Of course, Mr. Henley. Please board. Seat 2A is ready. Wait, Camille's voice cuts through. I paid for that seat. I have confirmation. You can't just give it to someone else. Stephen turns to her. Corporate courtesy gone. Ma'am, Mr. Henley is a platinum member. There was clearly a booking error. I'm offering you alternative seating and compensation. Now I need you to step aside, or I'm going to have to call security. Call security on a paying customer with a confirmed ticket because a platinum member wants her seat. Derek's recording now. This is discrimination. Patricia, sir, stop filming or you'll be removed from the flight as well. Richard Henley walks past Camille without a glance, like she's furniture. Disappears into the jetway. Going to sit in seat 2A. Her seat. The gate area goes quiet. Everyone watching. Multiple phones recording. People murmuring about how wrong this is. Stephen turns back. False patience in his voice. Now, ma'am, I can offer you seat 23B in Economy Plus and a $200 voucher for your next flight. But I need you to make a decision now so we can continue boarding. $200 for a $2,400 ticket. For humiliation. For discrimination. Camille looks at him. At Patricia. At the jetway where Richard Henley disappeared. And something shifts in her expression. A decision being made. She doesn't argue, doesn't raise her voice, simply nods. Okay. Stephen looks relieved. Wonderful. Patricia will get you sorted. Derek approaches, face flushed with anger. I posted what happened on Twitter. It's already getting traction. Are you okay? Thank you, Derek. That was kind of you. You should sue them. This is documented now. You have a case. Camille hands him a business card. I appreciate your support. Derek looks at the card. Eyes widen. Washington Capital Partners. Wait, are you Camille Washington? The Camille Washington? I am. You bought out Meridian Logistics last year. After they told their CEO he was too young, you acquired them and, oh, they have no idea who they just messed with, do they? Camille pulls out her phone. No, Derek, they really don't. What are you gonna do? Watch this space. She walks away, starts typing. First message to James Carter, her CFO. James, remember that airline acquisition we discussed last month? I'm in. Today, yes, I'm certain. Start the paperwork immediately. I want full financials by tonight. Send. Second message to her legal team. Need complete breakdown of airline stock structure, board composition, major shareholders, vulnerabilities by end of business today. Priority 1. Drop everything else. Send. Third message to her head of acquisitions. Clear my calendar for 72 hours. We're buying an airline. Send. Then she calls her mother. Hi, Mom. I'll be there. Might be a little late, but I promise I'll be there. I just have to handle something first. Everything okay? You sound stressed. Camille watches the plane pull back. Richard Henley in there somewhere, in her seat, already forgotten what happened. Everything's fine, Mom. Actually, everything's about to be perfect. I love you. Patricia approaches with a new boarding pass, seat 23B. Professional smile like nothing happened. Camille takes it, says nothing. Stephen calls after her, cheerful now. Thank you for your understanding, ma'am. Camille boards, walks through first class, past seat 2A where Richard Henley sits with his laptop and champagne. He doesn't look up. She continues to the back, row 23, seat B. Middle seat, squeezed between a sleeping man and a woman with a crying baby. This is what she gets for $2,400. She pulls out her laptop and starts working. Here's what Stephen and Patricia and Richard don't understand. Camille Washington built an $8 billion empire by seeing opportunities where others see problems, and they just gave her the biggest opportunity of her career. This airline is vulnerable. Stock down 40%. 3 board members unhappy with leadership. Customer satisfaction plummeting. Employee morale in the basement. It's ripe for acquisition. Her phone buzzes. James, just saw the video. It's everywhere. Justice for Camille is trending. Are you okay? I'm Kai. I'm fine, and I'm serious about the acquisition. Get me everything. Her head of acquisitions? Are you really doing this? Yes. They want to know what platinum membership is worth. I'm about to show them what ownership looks like. She opens a document, acquisition strategy. Step 1, financial analysis. Step 2, identify willing board members. Step 3, make an offer they can't refuse. Step 4, take control. Around her, passengers settle in, baby crying, man snoring, flight attendants doing safety demonstrations. In first class, Richard Henley is probably already asleep, comfortable, unaware. But in 60 days, he'll know. They'll all know. Before we see exactly how Camille dismantles this airline, I need you to do something. If you're invested in seeing justice served, hit that subscribe button right now and tell in the comments section from which city you're watching right now. I'm curious to know. Because what happens next is going to blow your mind. This isn't just revenge. This is a masterclass in power. Now let me ask you something. What would you do in Camille's position? Accept the voucher and move on. Sue for discrimination? Or burn it all down and rebuild it better? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Alright, let's get back to it. Because while Camille sits in that middle seat, her team is already making moves. And this airline has no idea what's coming. The plane is still at the gate, passengers boarding, completely unaware they just witnessed something that will change this airline forever. Camille stands off to the side, displaced, dismissed. Watching people board the plane she should already be on. Let me tell you what makes Camille different, what makes her dangerous. Washington Capital Partners, $8.2 billion in assets. But here's what sets her apart from other private equity vultures. Camille fixes broken systems. She doesn't just look at balance sheets, she looks at why companies fail, leadership problems, cultural issues, systemic failures. Then she fixes them, completely. Take Meridian Logistics. 3 years ago, struggling supply chain company on the verge of bankruptcy. The board rejected their 32-year-old CEO's modernization plan. Told him he was too young to understand the industry. Pushed him out. Put in an older CEO who ran it into the ground. Camille acquired Meridian for $800 million. Brought back the young CEO they dismissed. Implemented his plan. Change the culture. Today, Meridian is worth $2 billion, 340% return in 3 years. Employees happier, customers more satisfied, thriving. That's what Camille does. She doesn't just buy companies, she fixes them. She makes them better. And this airline, about to become her next project. Here's what she knows that Stephen and Patricia and Richard don't. This airline is deeply vulnerable. Stock down 40% in 18 months, worse than any competitor. Customer satisfaction in free fall. Delays up 30%, lost baggage complaints doubled. People actively choosing other airlines even when it costs more. Employee morale in the basement. Flight attendants threatening to strike. Pilots filing grievances. Ground crew turnover at all-time highs. And the leadership? 3 of 13 board members have publicly criticized the current CEO in the last 6 months, called his strategy short-sighted, lost confidence. This is a company in crisis, ripe for acquisition. In her cramped middle seat, Camille opens her laptop. In-flight Wi-Fi connected, $15 for spotty internet. But she needs it. Her inbox is exploding. James has sent preliminary financial analysis, pages of data. The numbers tell a story. A company worth far more than current stock price suggests, undervalued because of poor leadership and operational failures. With the right changes, incredibly profitable. James highlighted key figures. The airline owns its planes outright, hundreds of millions in assets, valuable landing slots at major airports, worth billions, loyal customer base despite recent problems, brand recognition, history, legacy. The bones are good, the foundation solid. Problems are all leadership and culture. Exactly the kind of company Camille excels at fixing. Her legal team sent board composition. 13 members. 3 criticized the CEO in the last 6 months. 2 approaching retirement, might be open to a sale. 4 represent institutional investors who care only about returns. Divided board, vulnerable board. Marcus sent recent news articles, declining customer satisfaction. Employee complaints, delays, cancellations, lost baggage. A company struggling to compete, a company in trouble. And companies in trouble can be acquired. Camille's fingers fly. Drafting initial strategy, the approach, the timeline, key players, vulnerabilities to exploit, arguments for shareholders. Her phone buzzes. James, initial analysis looks good. More vulnerable than we thought. Current leadership made several strategic mistakes. Stock undervalued by at least 30% based on assets alone. If we get 3 unhappy board members on our side, we could force a vote. This is doable, Camille. Very doable. She types back. Good. Schedule calls with every major shareholder. I want to know who's open to selling, who's unhappy with current returns, who might support new leadership. Her PR director, Camille, the video is everywhere. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. You're trending on Twitter. Justice for Camille has over 1 million tweets. The airline stock dipped 2%. Their PR team is scrambling. Do you want to make a statement? Camille considers. She could feed the outrage. Turn this into a media moment. But that's not her style. No statement yet. Let the story breathe. Let people keep talking. We'll respond when we have something meaningful to say. And when we do, it won't be with words. It'll be with action. Derek emails from first class. The video has over 500,000 views now. Justice for Camille is trending. People are boycotting the airline. How are you holding up? I'm fine, Derek. Better than fine. Thank you for your support. Watch what happens next. What are you planning? You'll see soon enough. Trust me, it'll be worth the wait. She checks financial news. The airline's stock dropped another point since she boarded. The video is having impact. Public outrage building. Social media flooded with angry comments, calls for boycotts. This is good for her purposes. Lower stock price makes acquisition easier. Public pressure makes the board desperate. Crisis creates opportunity. She opens the board member document, studies each one. Backgrounds. Tenure. Voting history, public statements, 3 criticized current leadership, her starting point, 3 potential allies. 4 represent institutional investors. They care about returns, nothing else. If she shows them better profits, they'll support her. 2 are longtime insiders, former executives. They'll resist change, fight to protect status quo. Obstacles. 4 are wildcards. Could go either way. Need persuasion, need vision. She makes notes beside each name. Potential approach. Likely concerns. Best argument. Mapping the campaign. The chess game. The strategy to take over this company. James texts, preliminary numbers are better than expected. Massive underutilized assets, planes alone worth $1.8 billion, landing slots at major hubs worth at least another $1 billion, maintenance facilities, training centers, real estate. If we strip out poor operational performance, assets alone justify stock price 50% higher than current trading. So they're not just badly managed, they're dramatically undervalued. Exactly. This is a steal at current prices. If we acquire near current market value, we're getting assets worth $5 to $6 billion for maybe $3 billion. Then let's move fast before the market realizes this. Made preliminary contact with 3 major shareholders, 2 institutional investors, and 1 individual with 4% of shares. All 3 expressed frustration with current leadership. All 3 open to hearing an acquisition proposal. This is very promising. Camille's heart rate picks up. This is really happening. Set up calls for tomorrow. I want to speak to each personally. I want them to hear the vision directly from me. What's the pitch? She thinks, then types, better returns, better leadership, better culture. A company that values customers and employees equally, that operates with integrity and excellence, that honors its legacy while embracing its future. I'm not just offering money, I'm offering transformation. That's good, they'll respond to that. The plane begins descent. Captain's voice, we're beginning our initial descent into Atlanta. Camille saves documents, closes laptop, looks around the cramped cabin, crying baby, sleeping man. Passengers squeezed into 2 small seats. This is what most passengers experience. This is reality for the majority. While in first class, Richard Henley is probably sleeping comfortably in seat 2A, already forgotten about the tantrum he threw, about how he treated another human being. But Camille hasn't forgotten, won't forget. Wheels touch down, smooth landing. Passengers immediately stand, grabbing bags, crowding aisles. Camille stays seated, no rush. She has calls to make, plans to execute, an empire to build. First class D planes first. Richard Henley walks past without a glance. Expensive bag over shoulder, already on his phone, already forgotten. Derek catches her eye, encouraging nod. Mouths, you've got this. She nods back. She'd finally, her row D planes. Flight attendants by the door. Standard goodbyes. Jessica is there. The flight attendant Richard berated. She looks tired, defeated, but still smiling, still professional. Camille stops, makes eye contact. Thank you for your service today. You handled some difficult situations with real grace. Jessica's eyes widen, water slightly. Thank you. That means a lot, really. Camille hands her a business card. If you ever want to talk about working conditions, about making this airline better, contact me. Jessica looks at the card, at Camille. Hope flickers. Thank you. I will. Camille walks off the plane, into the terminal, and then she gets to work. Over the next 48 hours, Camille Washington does what she does best. She doesn't sleep, barely eats, works. Her team assembles in the war room, conference room at Washington Capital's Atlanta office. Laptops open, phones ringing, whiteboards covered in notes and timelines. James presents full financial analysis, every number, every asset, every liability, every opportunity. The case for acquisition is overwhelming. This airline is worth far more than current stock price. With proper leadership and operations, could be worth double, triple. Marcus reports on shareholder sentiment. Contacted 15 major shareholders representing 42% of outstanding shares. 8 open to acquisition, 3 enthusiastic, 4 cautious but interested. This is enough. This is a coalition. Jennifer from legal presents acquisition strategy, timeline, regulatory hurdles, potential obstacles. It's complicated but doable. 60 days is tight but possible. Camille listens, processes, makes decisions, gives orders. We're making the offer Monday morning. $3.2 billion. Cash and stock. 30% premium over current trading price. That's generous. That's compelling. Shareholders will take it. But Camille, Marcus interjects, if they resist, if the board fights us, this could drag out for months, turn hostile. Then we'll go hostile. Her voice is steel. We'll take our case directly to shareholders, call a special meeting, vote out the board if we have to. I'm not asking permission, I'm taking control. The room goes quiet, everyone understands. This isn't friendly negotiation, this is war. By Sunday evening, the offer is complete, 100-page document, financial projections, operational improvements, leadership changes, vision for the future, comprehensive, compelling, bulletproof. Monday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, Washington Capital sends the formal offer to the airline's board. By 7 a.m., the offer is leaked to financial press. probably by Camille's team. Probably intentionally. By 8 a.m., it's everywhere. CNBC ticker, breaking, Washington Capitol makes $3.2 bid for airline. News anchor excited in a stunning development, billionaire investor Camille Washington, yes, the same woman from that viral video over the weekend, has made a formal offer to acquire the airline that denied her a first-class seat. The bid values the company at $3.2 billion, a 30% premium over Friday's closing price. Financial analyst. This is extraordinary. 48 hours ago, she was being removed from a first-class seat. Today, she's trying to buy the entire airline. This is the most aggressive corporate response to customer service discrimination I've ever seen. Another analyst. And look at the details. She's not just buying the company, she's promising to transform it. New leadership focused on customer experience and employee satisfaction. Major operational improvements. This isn't revenge, this is serious business. The airline stock jumps 20% in pre-market trading. Shareholders excited, the market responding. By 10 a.m., the airline's board calls emergency meeting. All 13 members, dialing in from across the country. Panic in their voices. The current CEO is defensive, angry. This is outrageous. This woman is trying to take over our company because she didn't get her way on one flight. This is personal. This is vindictive. But 3 board members push back, the ones critical of his leadership. Personal? She's offering shareholders a 30% premium. That's not personal, that's business. And frankly, maybe this company needs new leadership. Maybe we need someone who actually understands customer service. The institutional investors agree. Their only concern is returns. Look at her track record. She turned around Meridian Logistics, grew at 340%. She knows what she's doing. Our shareholders would be thrilled with this return. The debate rages for hours. Arguments, counter-arguments, threats, pleading. But the math is simple. The offer is too good, the pressure too great, the company too vulnerable. By 4 p.m., the vote comes. 8 in favor, 5 against. The board accepts the offer. Pending regulatory approval and shareholder vote, Washington Capitol will acquire the airline in a 60-day close. The news breaks immediately. Headlines across every outlet. Deal approved. Washington Capitol to acquire airline in 60-day close. Social media explodes. Twitter trends, Instagram stories, TikTok videos. Everyone talking about the woman who was denied a seat and responded by buying the airline. That evening, Camille does her first interview. NBC News, prime time, millions watching. The anchor leans forward. Camille, 48 hours ago, you were denied a first-class seat on this airline. Today, you're acquiring the entire company. What do you want people to know? Camille is calm, composed, professional. Navy blue suit, hair pulled back, every inch the CEO. I want people to know that this isn't about revenge. This isn't about personal grievance. This is about seeing a company with incredible potential that's being held back by poor leadership and broken systems. This airline has legacy, history, thousands of dedicated employees, millions of loyal customers. It deserves better, and I'm going to give it better. Better how? Leadership that values every customer equally, regardless of their status or appearance. Systems that treat employees with dignity and respect. Operations that prioritize service excellence over short-term profits. A culture of integrity and accountability. That's what this airline needs. That's what I'm going to build. Some critics say you're using your wealth to settle a personal score. Camille's expression doesn't change, but her voice gains an edge. Some critics said I was too young to run a company when I was 30. Some critics said women couldn't succeed in private equity. Some critics said I'd fail when I acquired Meridian. Critics are often wrong. Watch what happens with this airline. Watch how we transform it. Then we'll talk about motives. The interview goes viral. Millions of views, thousands of comments, most supportive, some skeptical, everyone watching. And somewhere Stephen Bradford and Patricia Morrison and Richard Henley are watching too. And they're realizing, understanding. The woman they dismissed, the woman whose seat they gave away, the woman they threatened with security, she just bought their airline. 2 months later. 63 days since Camille Washington was denied her first-class seat. 63 days since she was threatened with security. 63 days since Richard Henley walked past her like she was invisible. 63 days since she made a decision that would change everything. The acquisition closed yesterday. All paperwork signed, all regulatory approvals secured, all shareholder votes counted. Washington Capital Partners now owns 72% of the airline. Camille Washington is the majority owner, the CEO, the person in charge of every seat on every plane. And today, she's going back to the same airport, same terminal, same gate where it all happened. But this time, everything is different. Camille steps out of a black SUV at the departures terminal. Early morning, the same time she arrived 2 months ago. Same chaos of travelers. But she's not arriving as a passenger today, she's arriving as the owner. Tailored navy blue suit, crisp white shirt, simple gold jewelry, natural hair styled perfectly, silver streaks catching morning light. She looks every inch the CEO, powerful, confident, in control. Behind her a small team follows, COO, head of HR, director of customer experience, a photographer documenting this moment, this return, this reckoning. They walk through automatic doors. Immediately, things start happening. An airline employee at check-in looks up, double takes, eyes widen, nudges the person next to her. Whispers. They both stare. A pilot walking past stops mid-stride. He recognizes her. Everyone recognizes her now. The video has been viewed over 50 million times. Her face on every news channel, every business magazine. She's become a symbol, the woman who was denied a seat and bought the airline. The pilot approaches, extends his hand. Miss Washington, Captain Mike Rodriguez, I just want to say thank you. What you're doing for this airline, for all of us employees, it means everything. We've needed this kind of leadership for years. Camille shakes his hand warmly. Thank you, Captain. And please, call me Camille. We're all part of the same team now. How long have you been flying for this airline? 22 years, ma'am. Camille, and I've never been more hopeful about our future than I am right now. That means a lot. Really, we're going to make this airline something we're all proud of. She continues walking. More employees notice, more whispers, more stares. Some approach to introduce themselves, to thank her, to express hope. A flight attendant, older woman, probably 60s, steps forward with tears in her eyes. Ms. Washington, I was friends with your mother. Dorothy and I worked together for 15 years. She was one of the finest people I ever knew. She would be so proud of you. So incredibly proud. Camille's expression softens, voice gets quieter. Thank you. That means more to me than you know. My mother taught me everything about dignity and grace under pressure. I'm just trying to honor her legacy. You're doing more than that. You're transforming it. They walk through the concourse, past shops and restaurants, past other gates, and Camille sees the changes already beginning. New signs being installed. Every customer matters. Every employee matters. Her first directive as CEO. Simple words. But they represent a fundamental shift in culture. She sees employees in training sessions. Bias recognition. Conflict de-escalation. Customer service excellence. Mandatory programs she implemented company-wide. Every single employee has to complete them. She sees the new employee break rooms. Comfortable. Respectful. With actual chairs and tables and natural light. Not cramped closets employees used to hide in during breaks. She sees the changes in real time, her changes, her vision becoming reality. And then they arrive at Gate B7, the gate where it happened, where Patricia Morrison scanned her boarding pass and everything changed, where Stephen Bradford threatened her with security, where Richard Henley took her seat. There's a flight boarding now, passengers lined up, usual morning chaos. And standing at the gate counter checking boarding passes is Patricia Morrison. She's focused on her work, scanning passes, answering questions, professional, efficient. She hasn't noticed Camille yet. Camille stops a few feet away, studies her for a moment. Patricia looks different somehow, tired, older, worn down by guilt, by the knowledge of what she did, by watching the video of herself go viral, by becoming the face of discrimination to millions. Camille's team hangs back. This moment is hers alone. She walks forward, stands at the counter, waits. Patricia looks up from her screen. For a split second, she doesn't register who she's seeing, just another passenger. And then recognition hits. Her face goes completely pale. Color literally drains from her cheeks. Eyes go wide. Mouth opens but no sound comes out. Patricia Morrison. Camille's voice is calm, even. Not angry, not vindictive, just stating a fact. Patricia's hands start trembling. She grips the counter to steady herself. Miss Washington? I wasn't. She can't finish sentences, can't form words, brain short-circuiting. Because standing in front of her is the woman she humiliated 2 months ago, the woman whose seat she gave away, the woman she dismissed. Except now that woman owns the airline. Now that woman is her boss. Now that woman controls her future. I'd like to speak with you, Patricia. Please follow me. It's not a request. It's a directive. Professional, but absolutely non-negotiable. Patricia looks like she might faint. She glances at her colleague at the gate, looks back at Camille, swallows hard. Of course, Miss Washington. Right away. She steps away from the counter, follows Camille. Her legs are visibly shaking. She's having trouble walking straight. Other employees are watching. Everyone knows what happened. Everyone saw the video. Everyone knows this reckoning was coming. They walk down a corridor, away from gates, away from passengers. To the administrative offices. Camille opens a door to a private office. Small, simple. A desk, 2 chairs, a window overlooking the tarmac. Please, sit. Camille gestures to one of the chairs. Patricia sits. She's trembling so hard the chair is actually shaking. Tears already forming in her eyes. She's not even trying to hide it. Camille closes the door. The sound of it clicking shut feels final. Ominous, like a judgment being sealed. She doesn't sit immediately. She stands for a moment, looking out the window at planes on the tarmac, letting the silence build, letting Patricia sit with her fear, with her guilt. Then she turns, walks to the other chair, sits down, looks directly at Patricia. Patricia can't meet her eyes. She's staring at her hands, at the floor. Anywhere but at Camille. And then she breaks. I'm so sorry. The words come out in a rush, desperate, anguished. I'm so sorry, Miss Washington. I didn't know who you were. I was having a terrible day. My boyfriend had just broken up with me. I was stressed, I was overwhelmed, but that's no excuse. No excuse at all. What I did was wrong. It was discriminatory. It was cruel. I've thought about it every single day since it happened. I've watched that video 1,000 times. I've seen myself in it. I've seen what I became in that moment. And I'm ashamed. I'm so ashamed. She's crying openly now, tears streaming down her face, voice breaking. Are you firing me? Because I understand if you are. I deserve it. What I did was unforgivable. I took your seat. I gave it to someone else because he was a platinum member. Because he... She can't say it, can't say the quiet part out loud. But Camille says it for her, calmly, without accusation. Just stating truth. Because you looked at me and decided I was less worthy of that seat than Richard Henley. Not because of our respective reservations, not because of who paid more, but because of assumptions you made about who belonged in first class and who didn't. Patricia sobs. Yes. That's exactly what I did, and I'm so ashamed. I was trained to prioritize platinum members, to give them preference. But the training didn't make me look at you and assume you didn't have status. That was me. That was my bias, my prejudice, my failure as a human being. Camille leans back in her chair, studies Patricia, really looks at her. At the genuine remorse, the real guilt, the authentic shame. Tell me what you were thinking in that moment, when you saw my boarding pass, when Richard Henley arrived. What went through your mind? Patricia takes a shaky breath. I saw your boarding pass. I saw it was first class. And for a split second, I thought there must be a mistake. Because of how you looked. Because of my own racist assumptions. And then when Mr. Henley arrived, and he was demanding his seat, I defaulted to what felt easier. Give the seat to the platinum member. The person who fits what I expected a first-class passenger to look like. The person who wouldn't cause trouble. And I told myself it was about status, about protocol. But it wasn't. It was about bias. It was about discrimination. And I did it to you in front of everyone. I humiliated you. And I can never take that back. Do you understand the impact of what you did? Not just on me, but systemically? Patricia nods, wiping her eyes. Yes, I've had a lot of time to think about it. You paid for that seat. You had every right to it. And I took it away based on assumptions about your worth. Your place, your belonging. I was a gatekeeper in the worst way. I used my tiny bit of power to enforce discrimination. And there are probably dozens, maybe hundreds of times I did smaller versions of that without even realizing it. Times I made assumptions, times I gave better service to people who looked a certain way, times I was part of the problem. Camille nods slowly. At least Patricia understands. At least she gets it. That's more than some people ever achieve. There's a long silence. Patricia sits there, shaking, waiting for the axe to fall. waiting to be fired, waiting for the punishment she believes she deserves. And then Camille speaks. I'm implementing mandatory bias training across all airline staff. Every single employee, from gate agents to executives to pilots to flight attendants. Everyone. It starts next month. Comprehensive program, recognizing bias, understanding impact, learning to serve every customer with equal dignity and respect. Patricia nods miserably. I understand. You'll be in the first group to complete it. Patricia's voice is barely a whisper. Okay. And after you complete it, I want you to help develop the curriculum. I want you to share your experience, your bias, your assumptions, your failure, and your growth. I want you to help teach others so they don't make the same mistakes you made. Patricia's head snaps up. She looks at Camille for the first time since sitting down. What? You heard me. Patricia's eyes are wide, confused, disbelieving. You're not firing me? Camille holds her gaze, steady, unwavering. I fix broken systems, Patricia. Not just by removing the broken parts, but by transforming them, by giving people the chance to grow, to be better, to learn. You made a terrible mistake, a discriminatory, hurtful, wrong mistake. But you understand what you did, you genuinely regret it, and you have the opportunity now to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Patricia starts crying again, but these tears are different. Not fear, not shame, something else. Relief, gratitude. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve your mercy. Maybe not, but I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because I believe people can change. I believe systems can be better. And I believe that sometimes the best teachers are people who've learned hard lessons. So here's what's going to happen. You complete the bias training, you help develop it, you become part of my diversity and inclusion team. And you spend every day proving that you're better than your worst moment. Can you do that? Patricia nods frantically. Yes, absolutely. Miss Washington, I promise you I will spend every single day proving I'm better than what I did to you. I will work harder than I've ever worked. I will be the change. I won't let you down. Camille stands. Patricia stands too, wiping her face, trying to compose herself. Don't make me regret this, Patricia. I won't. I swear I won't. Thank you. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do this. You could have destroyed me. You should have destroyed me. Camille walks to the door, opens it, looks back at Patricia one more time. Destroying you wouldn't have fixed anything. Transforming you might fix something important. Now get back to your gate. You have passengers to serve. All of them, equally. Yes, ma'am, yes, absolutely. Patricia practically runs out of the office, overwhelmed, grateful, changed. Camille takes a breath. That was the hard one, the one that required mercy. Required belief in redemption. The next conversation is going to be different. Her assistant appears in the doorway. Miss Washington, Stephen Bradford is here for his meeting. Send him in. A moment later, Stephen Bradford walks into the office. And here's the thing, he walks in with confidence, with that same customer service smile, with the energy of a man who thinks he can charm his way out of anything. He doesn't get it yet, doesn't understand the gravity of his situation, doesn't realize his career is hanging by a thread. Miss Washington. He extends his hand like they're old friends meeting for lunch. I have to say, what you've done with this acquisition is remarkable. Just remarkable. The employees are energized. The changes you're making are exciting. I'm thrilled to be part of this transformation. Camille doesn't shake his hand, just looks at it until he lowers it awkwardly. Sit down, Stephen. His smile falters slightly, but he sits, still trying to maintain that professional cheerfulness. I'm sure we can resolve whatever misunderstanding occurred that morning. You have to understand, I was following protocol. Platinum members do receive priority in conflict situations. It's in our policy manual. I was just doing my job. There it is. The defensiveness, the deflection, the refusal to take responsibility. Camille leans forward. Her voice is ice cold. Let me be very clear about what happened that morning. Stephen, you threatened to call security on a paying customer with a confirmed first-class ticket because a platinum member wanted her seat. You didn't verify the booking error you claimed existed. You didn't check my documentation. You didn't attempt to accommodate both passengers. You simply gave my seat away and then threatened me with removal when I objected. Stephen shifts uncomfortably. Well, when you put it like that, that's not interpretation. That's what happened, and it happened because you made a decision about who deserved that seat based on status and maybe based on other factors you're not willing to acknowledge. His face flushes. Now wait just a minute. Do you know how many complaints have been filed against you in the last 2 years? Camille pulls out a folder, opens it. 47 formal customer complaints. 47. 18, specifically mentioning discriminatory treatment. 12 from black passengers, 4 from Hispanic passengers, 2 from passengers with disabilities. Do you see a pattern, Stephen? Stephen's confidence is cracking now. His smile is completely gone. Those complaints were all investigated. I was cleared each time. You were cleared because the system protected you, because no one wanted to admit there was a culture problem, because it was easier to dismiss individual complaints than to acknowledge systemic bias. But that system, I'm dismantling it. Silence. Stephen is pale now, sweating. Miss Washington, I have a family. I've been with this airline for 18 years. I've given my career to this company. And in those 18 years, you've created an environment where employees like Patricia felt empowered to discriminate, where policies were used to justify bias, where customers who didn't fit a certain profile were treated as problems to be managed rather than people to be served. So what are you saying? Am I being fired? Camille pauses, considers. You're being reassigned to a non-customer-facing role while you undergo extensive retraining, extends recognition, bias recognition, cultural competency, leadership accountability. If you complete the training and demonstrate genuine change, we'll reevaluate. If there's another incident, any incident, you're done. Do you understand? Stephen's jaw tightens. He's angry now, humiliated, but he's smart enough to know he has no leverage. Yes, ma'am. Good. Your reassignment starts Monday. HR will be in touch with details. He stands, walks to the door, pauses, looks back. For what it's worth, I am sorry. I should have handled that situation differently. Camille doesn't respond, just watches him leave. She doesn't believe his apology. She can hear it in his voice. He's not sorry for what he did. He's sorry he got caught. Sorry there were consequences. Some people can change. Some people choose not to. Stephen Bradford is the latter. He'll complete the training because he has to. But he'll resent every minute, and within 6 months he'll resign. Claim the new culture doesn't fit him. Blame Camille for ruining the airline. Tell his friends she's on a power trip, and Camille will let him go. Gladly. Because some people are too invested in broken systems to help fix them. She stands, straightens her suit. Time to see the changes she's made. The real changes. The ones that matter. She walks back through the terminal. Her team rejoins her. They walk past the gates, and Camille sees her vision coming to life. At gate C14, a gate agent is helping an elderly passenger who's confused about his boarding pass. The agent is patient, kind, taking time to explain. No rush, no annoyance, just service. At gate D3, a flight attendant is chatting with a family traveling with a special needs child, making them feel welcome, asking what accommodations they need, actually caring. At gate E9, there's a new sign. Priority boarding for passengers with disabilities, families with young children, and anyone needing extra time. Not just platinum members, not just status, need. These are her changes, her values, her vision of what this airline should be. She stops at the coffee shop, the same coffee shop where she stopped 2 months ago. The same woman is behind the counter, and when she sees Camille, her entire face lights up. Miss Washington. Oh my God, Miss Washington. The woman comes around the counter. Looks like she might hug Camille, but stops herself. The whole airport is talking about what you did, what you're still doing. You're changing everything. Camille smiles, just trying to make things right. Grand oat milk latte, extra shot. The woman grins. You remember? Yes, coming right up. And it's on the house. Absolutely on the house. I insist on paying. She pulls out a 20, hands it over for the $8 coffee. Keep the change. How are your business classes going? The woman's eyes water. You remembered that too. I'm almost done with my degree. Thanks to you, actually. Your story inspired me to keep pushing. And I got a small business loan approved. I'm opening my coffee shop in 6 months. Camille's smile is genuine, warm. That's wonderful. Send me the address when you open. I'll be your first customer. I will. I absolutely will. Thank you, Miss Washington, for everything, for showing us that you can fight back, that you can win, that justice is real. Camille takes her coffee, sips it, just as good as she remembered. One more stop. Gate B7 again. The flight that was boarding earlier has departed. The gate is quieter now. Just a few passengers waiting for the next flight. And standing at the counter, preparing for the next boarding process, is Jessica. The flight attendant from that day. The one Richard Henley berated. The one who maintained her dignity under pressure. Jessica looks up, sees Camille, and her expression transforms from professional courtesy to genuine emotion. Miss Washington. Camille approaches. Please call me Camille. How are you, Jessica? Jessica's voice is thick with emotion. I'm good. Better than good. The changes you've made, the new policies, the support staff programs, the pay increases. Miss Washington, you've changed our lives. All of us. We actually feel valued now, respected, protected. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. You deserved better. All of you did. Thank you. Jessica wipes her eyes. Thank you for seeing us, for caring about us. Most executives don't even know our names. I know your name, and I know your dedication, which is why I want to talk to you about a promotion. How would you feel about becoming a trainer for our new flight attendant program, teaching the next generation about service excellence? Jessica's mouth falls open. Are you serious? Completely serious. You demonstrated grace under pressure, professionalism under difficult circumstances. That's exactly what I want to teach. What do you say? Yes. Jessica's voice is a whisper, then stronger. Yes. Absolutely yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. You've earned it. My team will be in touch next week with details. Camille checks her watch. There's one more thing she needs to do today. One final moment to complete this circle. She walks to the gate counter. Her team is there, along with several airline executives who've been following her on this tour. Everyone's watching. Waiting. I'm boarding now. Camille hands her phone to one of her team members. First class, seat 2A. The gate agent scans her pass. Welcome aboard, Miss Washington. The plane is ready for you. Camille walks down the jetway, alone this time. No team, no executives, just her. She steps onto the plane. First-class cabin, spacious and comfortable. Everything she paid for 2 months ago, everything she was denied. And there, standing at the entrance, is Jessica. She must have boarded early to prepare the cabin. She's waiting, smiling, welcoming. Welcome aboard, Miss Washington. It's an honor to have you flying with us today. Camille smiles warmly. Please call me Camille, and thank you for your dedication, Jessica. I've implemented new staff support programs, better pay, better scheduling, better working conditions. You and your colleagues deserve to be treated with dignity, always. Jessica's eyes fill with tears again. Thank you. Thank you for seeing us as people, for caring about more than just profits. You're changing everything. Camille walks to seat 2A. Her seat. The seat she paid for. The seat that was taken from her. The seat that started this entire journey. She sits down. The leather is soft, the space is generous, the view is perfect, but it's not about the comfort. It's never been about the comfort. She runs her hand along the armrest, feels the small plaque that's been installed there. Brushed metal. Simple engraving, just a few words. She had it installed last week. A reminder, a promise, a symbol of what this airline stands for now. She pulls out her phone, opens a video call. Derek answers immediately. His face fills the screen. Camille, you're in first class. You're in seat 2A. I am. She's smiling now, really smiling. I actually did it, Derek. I bought the airline. Derek laughs. That's the most epic response to bad customer service in history. How does it feel? Camille looks around the cabin, at the changes she's made, at the culture she's building, at the justice she's creating. It feels like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. They talk for a few more minutes. Derek tells her about his company, about the deal he just closed, about the business advice she gave him that changed his strategy, about how watching her handle this situation taught him about patience and power and playing the long game. You know what the best part is? Derek says. You didn't just get revenge. You didn't just punish the people who wronged you. You fixed the whole system. You made it better for everyone. That's real power. Camille nods. Sometimes the best response to injustice isn't revenge. It's revolution. Derek grins. I'm stealing that quote. Please do. They say goodbye. Camille hangs up, settles back in her seat, closes her eyes for a moment. 2 months ago, she was sitting in economy, cramped, dismissed, humiliated. Today, she's sitting in first class. Seat 2A, owner of the airline, CEO, in control. But more importantly, today Patricia Morrison is getting a second chance. Today, Jessica is getting a promotion. Today, employees across this airline are being treated with dignity. Today, customers are being served equally regardless of status or appearance. Today, a broken system is being fixed. The passengers begin boarding. They see her sitting in seat 2A. Some recognize her, some whisper, some smile, some nod in respect. An older black woman, maybe in her 70s, stops by her seat. "Excuse me, are you Camille Washington?" "I am." The woman's eyes fill with tears. "I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for what you did. For showing us that we can fight back, that we can win, that we belong everywhere we have the right to be. My granddaughter saw your story. She's 10 years old, and now she believes she can do anything, that no one can tell her where she doesn't belong. Thank you for that." Camille's voice is thick with emotion. "That means everything. Tell your granddaughter to never let anyone diminish her. Never let anyone decide her worth. She belongs everywhere." "I will. God bless you." The woman moves to her seat, and Camille sits there, overwhelmed by the impact of what she's done. It's bigger than business, bigger than acquisition, bigger than revenge or justice. It's transformation. Real, lasting, meaningful transformation. 6 months later, the airline's transformation is undeniable. Customer satisfaction scores have jumped 47%, best in the industry. Reviews are glowing. People are choosing this airline specifically because of the culture change. Employee retention has improved dramatically. Turnover down 60%. Morale surveys show record high satisfaction. People want to work here now. Revenue is up. Stock price has recovered and exceeded previous highs. Shareholders are thrilled. The acquisition is being called one of the smartest moves in private equity history. But the numbers aren't what matter most to Camille. What matters is the letter she receives from a young black woman, a college student who was flying home for the holidays. She writes about how a gate agent treated her with such kindness and respect, how it was different from every other airline she'd flown, how she felt seen, valued, how it reminded her that she belongs in every space she enters. What matters is the employee town hall, where a flight attendant stands up and says, with tears in her eyes, "For the first time in my career, I feel like my employer actually cares about me as a human being." What matters is Patricia Morrison, standing in front of a training class, sharing her story, teaching others about bias and redemption, becoming one of the airline's most effective advocates for change. What matters is seeing Jessica, now a senior trainer, teaching new flight attendants that service excellence means treating every passenger with dignity, regardless of who they are or what seat they're in. That's the real victory. 2 years after that morning at Gate B7, Camille is invited to speak at a business leadership conference. The keynote. Thousands of executives in the audience. She stands on that stage, poised, powerful, and she tells the story, the whole story, from being denied a seat to buying the airline to transforming the culture. And she ends with this: sometimes the best response to injustice isn't revenge, it's revolution. Real, systemic, lasting revolution. When you face discrimination, when you encounter broken systems, you have choices. You can accept it, you can complain about it, you can sue over it, or you can transform it. Don't just call out what's wrong, build what's right. Don't just demand change, create it. Don't just fight against broken systems, fix them. That's how we transform not just companies but industries. Not just businesses, but cultures. Not just systems but societies. I didn't buy that airline for revenge. I bought it because I saw potential. I saw thousands of employees who deserve better leadership. I saw millions of customers who deserved better service. I saw a system that could be fixed. And here's what I learned. Real power isn't about punishing the people who wrong you. Real power is about transforming the systems that allowed the wrong to happen in the first place. Patricia Morrison still works for my airline. She's now the head of our diversity and inclusion training. She teaches others about bias, about assumptions, about the harm we can do when we don't examine our own prejudices. She's become one of our most valuable employees because she understands what it means to fail and to grow from that failure. Some of you might think I should have fired her. Maybe you're right, but I believe in redemption. I believe people can change. And I believe that sometimes the best way to fix a broken system is to give people within that system a chance to be part of the solution. Stephen Bradford no longer works for my airline. He resigned 6 months after I took over. Some people don't want to change. Some people are too invested in the old way of doing things. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to be part of the transformation. But we can't let those people stop us from building something better. Today, my airline is thriving. Not just financially, though we are, but culturally. We've become a model for how to treat customers and employees with dignity. Other airlines are copying our training programs, our policies, our culture, because it turns out that doing the right thing is also good business. Treating people with dignity increases loyalty. Investing in employees decreases turnover. Creating an inclusive culture attracts the best talent. Fixing broken systems makes companies stronger. So my challenge to all of you today is this. What broken systems are you tolerating? What injustices are you accepting as just the way things are? What transformations are you capable of creating? You have more power than you think. Use it, not for revenge, not for personal gain, but for real, lasting, meaningful change. Because that's what leadership really is. Not managing the status quo, not protecting broken systems, but having the courage to transform them. Thank you. The audience erupts, standing ovation. It goes on for minutes. People are crying, inspired, moved, because Camille didn't just tell them a business success story. She told them a story about justice, about transformation, about what's possible when you refuse to accept the world as it is and insist on building the world as it should be. And somewhere, watching a video of that speech, is a young girl who was just told she doesn't belong somewhere, that she should lower her expectations, that she should accept less. And she remembers Camille Washington, the woman who was denied a seat and bought the airline, the woman who transformed injustice into revolution. And that girl decides, if she can do that, I can do this. I belong everywhere, and no one gets to tell me otherwise. That's the real legacy. Not the billions, not the company, but the belief, the inspiration. The proof that one person with courage and vision and determination can change everything. Camille Washington proved it. She proved that justice isn't just about calling out what's wrong, it's about building what's right. She proved that power isn't just about punishing your enemies, it's about transforming broken systems. She proved that the best response to discrimination isn't always litigation or outrage or viral moments. Sometimes it's acquisition, transformation, revolution. She took her seat, not just seat 2A, but her seat at the table, her seat in the boardroom, her seat as a change maker, her seat in history, and she made sure that everyone else could take their seats too. With dignity, with respect, with equality. That's what revolution looks like, and it's beautiful. If this story moved you, if it inspired you, if it made you believe that real change is possible, I need you to do something. Share it. Share it with someone who's been told they don't belong, someone who's been discriminated against, someone who's been dismissed, someone who needs to know that justice is real, that transformation is possible, and that they have the power to change broken systems. And do me a favor to hit that subscribe button right now, because this is what we do here. We tell stories about people who refuse to accept injustice, people who transform systems, people who prove that courage and integrity and persistence can change the world. What would you have done in Camille's position? Would you have taken the voucher, sued, gone viral on social media, or would you have done what she did? Played the long game, acquired the company, and transformed it from the inside out? Let me know in the comments. Because the way we respond to injustice defines who we are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing that the world can be better. And remember, sometimes the best response to injustice isn't revenge. It's revolution.